Hi, this is Paul Sanneman with Business Success Tips. I'm the founder of Contractor Staffing Source. We help contractors build great teams. My guest today is Jason Radford, who's a very successful builder. So, Jason, you know, I'm sure you made your share of mistakes, right? You can stay in business as long as you afford to pay for your mistakes. I always say that. So, tell me a little bit about your journey, how your business started it, and where you are today.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Paul, for having me on. I appreciate it, and I hope I'm able to share something of value to the listening audience today. So I started, in building. I think back in '03, I started initially. So I've been building for 23 years approximately. I've done commercial, industrial, and most recently residential over the last 18 years, I think, residential. I started my firm here at Radford Building Company, Paul, back in 2020, right before COVID hit. So that was, a fun time to sort of embark on that journey, right. For sure. And we've been going at it since then, man, and been very, very grateful that we've had some good successes. It's been slow, but we're building a framework, and I hope to share some of that, with your listening audience today. As far as kind of what our focus.
How big? How many employees do you have, and
sure.
what's your typical project? Give people who Radford Building is.
Yeah, so we focus on residential design build contracts primarily, and really our specialty is we want to partner with people when the vision is early and they have an idea. We really want to partner with them in the pre-construction phases and mitigate that risk and walk them through the process to design, build, map everything out. So we are a team currently of four. Five. We are five people, 4 full-time and 1 part-time. 3 of us office related, and then 2 field guys that run the projects day to day. We typically specialize in projects ranging on the new build side from $800,000 to $1.5 to $1.8 million. On the renovation side, $200,000 to $600,000, somewhere in that world. That's kind of our structure.
Now what's your annual volume?
Annual volume. So last year we did 2.9 million in revenue as far as revenue volume. Year before that we did 1.7. We were kind of stuck at 1.7 for about 3 years running. This year we're on target to hit probably about 4 million this year.
Okay. What's your average size project?
Well, like I said, on the new build, I'd say average on a new build 1.2. On a reno, probably 350. Somewhere in there.
So I know everybody's got, how do you find new clients?
Yeah. Well, it's certainly more of a struggle now. The market feels a little bit soft now here in, the Q2 of 26. And, but how we find new clients is we chose to partner with, a great team to help us build out a website with content. So we're doing regular blogs, things like that. So we have a good digital platform, but we're not actively advertising digitally, though we did locally. We just put an ad in a magazine. So yeah, it's been mostly word of mouth, I would say. And then our digital platform, people find us on Google. ChatGPT starting to deliver some folks our way based on the content we're putting out there. So it's definitely a steady, you just got to keep building and building and building is what we're learning. So we don't have that figured out fully. We're still mapping it out.
And what kind of a budget do you have toward marketing?
For marketing, we're still pretty minimal, Paul. I think we're probably hitting on this year we'll probably hit about 25,000 in marketing, but we really should probably be more like 40 or 50.
Budget goes, that's not a lot of marketing, which is fine, right? So
it's not.
And I would say, what's your typical gross margin on a project? I know it changes with new homes versus remodels. People are always interested in that. And what
sure.
I tell people where you're location.
That's true. Yes, sir. So when I look at numbers last year, we did our gross margin company-wide. I don't really have it dialed in project to project. I look more holistically. We were hitting about 32% gross. Okay. And we did hit a 10% net last year. So we had a strong year last year. Actually, I think we hit about 12% net.
That's good.
Yeah.
And so advising other contractors, what do you think allowed you to keep that net? Because a lot of people, they work all year and don't make any money. So you control cost. What secret sauce did you have to make sure that you made money on projects?
Yeah, I think honestly, our secret sauce, I think it's estimating. I think having a budget that actually holds water. I think as I look back at project to project, that's really where we win. So I think estimating is our secret sauce, and that is the most critical piece of our business. We had projects run over that cost us more, but because the budget was so strong going in, it held us through those times. So that's what I would say.
How do you what software do you use to estimate? How do you do estimates to make sure that you actually get an accurate estimate?
Well, I currently use CoConstruct, which a lot of these guys know is on the chopping block, I guess. But I partnered with him back in 2020. Spent a lot of time building out their parameter feature. Back then, it was really cutting edge,
Right.
and so we still use that, and it works really well. Serves us really well.
Okay, so you've got a good project management software and you follow it. That's right. How
Correct.
do you make sure your labor doesn't go over?
That is a great question. I will say another thing that we do, and to help answer that question, I track errors in my accounting, so I can look at each project, and my guys can look at the real-time budget report, and they can see, hey, this project had X $1,000 worth of errors. You can click on that, get a report what those errors were. That helps bring awareness, which I think ultimately helps bring change, which helps us control that for future projects. I always say I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. Milk gets spilled. Hey, let's learn from it. Here's a lesson learned. Let's talk about it. Let's move on. Let's not do it again. That's one way that we're helping to identify that and then not let it happen again, to control that.
Okay. So if you're talking, say you met a contractor at an airport, right? And he's saying, well, you're a big successful contractor. What advice would you say? Make sure you do this and make sure you don't do this. Like one thing that you got to do for sure, one thing, big mistake I made and I'll never do it again.
Yeah, that is a good question. I think it's easy for me to answer what you should do. I think you have got to get systems and processes in place, and you've got to have things documented and mapped out. I think that's the key to success. You have to have a good estimating program, because I'm a firm believer that you can be the best builder in the world. You can build faster than anybody. You can build better than anybody. But if your budget doesn't hold up to what it actually costs to run that project, it's for naught, and it's irrelevant. So I think estimating has to be one of the first things. I think charging for pre-construction services is another thing I would say to highlight. You got to do that. That's something we do. As far as what not to do, I think one thing I've learned is go with your gut. Meaning specifically, I've hired some people in the past where my gut told me not to, but I did it anyway because I wanted to help them and grow them, and that cost me a lot of money. So I would say go with your gut. Don't hire the old adage, right? Hire slow, fire fast. That's something I'm still learning, Paul. I'm a recovering addict in that way of I tend to hire too fast and fire too slow.
I know. I mean, we've done some numbers, and the average contractor has a 50% retention, and the average bad employee costs 50 grand. I'm sure you can relate to that, right? You've had that.
I absolutely can relate to that. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thanks for the advice. Now, if somebody's listening to this and they're saying they're doing $1 million, we get to $2 million, they just want, can they call you and just say, hey, Jason, can you give me, I know you're not an official coach or anything, but you're a nice guy. Is it possible for people to just have a conversation with you?
Yeah, I love helping people. I mean, that's the heartbeat of my business. So I would be open to any conversation and point people in a direction for sure.
Okay. We appreciate your time, Jason. This has been very helpful.
Thank you, Paul.